Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Actually Comics. My name is Tristan, and I'm joined today by my friend Bob.
Hi.
Hello, Bob. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
Now.
I'm better now that I've kind of figured out what's going on.
You're on the struggle bus there.
Little bit of struggle there. I did not know what was going on, and everything was missing, and it was annoying.
Was it one thing that you just overlooked the entire time and then you figured it out, or was it just like...
Yeah, it's a stupid setting.
I find there's always
cameras.
like
Unfortunately.
why can't I hear it? And it's like, oh, it's because this thing's not plugged in.
Right, yeah. Oh, there's so much stuff that isn't plugged in. Anyway, we're going to talk about comic books today. We've got not that many. It's not a huge week.
Yeah, there's a lot of gaps on the shelf this
A lot
week.
of gaps on the shelf. Very strange. But there's some good stuff. I enjoyed a bunch of books this week.
It's because they put all the comics at the end of the month.
They're backloading them for some reason.
Yeah,
This is a bad time to have comics in a store because it's so humid. So maybe that's it.
Ooh, they're
Who
doing
knows?
it for you
They're doing it because they don't want them all wrinkly.
because they care.
Perfect. A comic book that's too big to get wrinkly would be Amazing Spider-Man number 31. Of course, legacy numbering. That is 925. The wedding of some person and some other person.
Yeah, it is two people that are at a wedding getting married.
Who are they?
They're getting hitched.
Who are those
One
people?
of them is Robbie Robertson's son.
One of them is Toomey Tombstone's daughter.
So there we figured it out. Put two heads together, we figure out who got married.
Perfect. I got it. It's fun. It's fine.
There's a lot of like stories in it.
It is interesting because it is setting up like three different plot lines. Platt lines. Yes, that is lines of Oliver Platt dialogues from different movies.
There's a lot of plot seeding in this week's comics, actually.
That is true. I agree. Some of it is in this week's Avengers.
I actually forgot to read Avengers.
I did not forget to read this week's Avengers. This, I hope that's not too dark for people to see it, but anyway, Avengers this week is continuing with those weird, I don't know, what do you want to call them? They're like geometric shaped creature monster villains. And one of them is basically a biblically accurate angel, as the meme would say.
So it has like a lot of eyes.
It's like a bunch of feathers and an eyes and stuff, and it's just kind of a form. One of them is like a hexagon with arms and legs, and they're kind of weird looking. They're interesting. It's a cool swing that they're taking. This, honestly, I was expecting a little more from Jed MacKay for this because it is just a fight comic. It really is just like, well, Thor can't beat this guy, and you can't beat this guy, and this guy is so strong, and this is very strong. And it's like...
Establishing stakes.
Yeah, I mean, sure, we're establishing the same stakes that the last 50 comics have established. It's just not... I like him a lot, but I think he's really just doing kind of the rote...
Is it like writing for the trade kind of thing?
It kind of is. It's actually what this reminds me of is if you took Hickman's run of Avengers and turned it into a readable series.
Oh, I mean, that sounds good.
Like turn it into something that's not for like hard sci-fi fans. Like he just layered on like fake religious nonsense and crazy super space stuff. And it was too much for me personally.
Yeah.
And this is a much more readable version of an Avengers story with these big, pseudo godlike, weird, I don't know.
I mean, yeah,
big weird shapes from space.
Yeah, that's cool. For me, I prefer I have a shorter attention span, so like a 5-year storyline isn't going to work out for me. Whereas something like this is probably more. Although that said, I'm sorry I forgot to read it.
And I will. I like this.
I don't know how I forgot. I just did.
Honestly,
there were less comics.
I tend to forget to read Avengers all the time because
I didn't even grab it from the shelf. It's weird. I just skipped it.
9 out of 10 times. It's too much. This, I will say, this is not too much, and that's cool. And there's this weird, there's a weird through line of how much, for some reason, Sam is really pissed off at Black Panther, and there's a little bit of tension between the two of them, and that's a fun storyline. I like that.
Sure.
But you know what else is fun?
What?
Batman Incorporated.
I like it's weird because it seems like it's getting canceled. I actually kind of like it better. They just like, and even though it's like a sort of, I just love how sort of dumb it is. Like, but like also like they're actually acting like a team. Whereas the first one was just like, it was just like that ghost maker. And it's like, who cares about that? He's not even a bad guy. Like he's like, but like
he's not a bad guy, but he is a bat guy.
Well, now they have the bat people doing their bat stuff. But my favorite part of this is that there's a Joker who's a rodeo clown, and he fights the Native American man of bats and his sidekick. He's like a villain for them, and his whole deal is that he's upset that he was prevented from becoming a rodeo clown by Chief Man of Bats, and I think that's really funny, and I like it.
I mean,
so more stuff like that will.
That's a great origin story.
Yeah, it's good.
What is the origin for Oracle meeting Scooby-Doo? Who knows? It's Rame Over.
Oh yeah, I did see it say
like Game Over.
Yeah, he said Rame Over, and I actually stopped reading it at that point. I don't know why.
It's a good reason. It says it on the cover, and I feel like the reason
it says it in the comic as well.
Yeah, R's tend to replace O's for Scooby-Doo, so replacing a G with an R seems odd.
Yeah.
Like he would say, I'm over here. He would say Game Rover. And then you would have a double pun because he's also a dog.
Wouldn't he say Rame Rover?
I mean, he definitely would say Rover at the end. But I think maybe they wanted to avoid that direct pun. Who knows?
I don't know.
Who can see into the minds of the geniuses
they want to
behind
say Rover
Scooby-Doo?
Because he's a dog.
He's a dog. He's a dog. He's a bird
dog. He's I hate that
song. He's a bird. He's a dog.
She's a dog.
He's a bird dog.
He's a bird.
Hey, guess what? You know what you get when you go to the 20s and you get a plane and you go through a barn? You get Barnstormers. What happens? Tula Lotay and Scott Snyder will tell you all about it in this week's Barnstormers number 2.
That wasn't even on the shelf. I didn't even see it.
Well, it is on the shelf, and it's called Barnstormers, and it's a comic about stormin' barns.
I missed it.
Stormin' Barnin' Schwarzkopf. There we go. Captain Marvel, The Dark Tempest. I didn't read it.
I did sort of flip through it. I see Barnstormers now. I just like has like such a nondescript cover that
you're
like
telling
I
me,
literally
man.
just skipped it.
It's like you could
like it's like invisible.
It is basically invisible.
I was just about to argue with you that it wasn't on the shelf until I looked over and saw that it was actually there the entire time.
It is basically a nothing comic. It's a Fnord is what it is.
A Fnord, you say?
Yes.
Okay.
For anyone who is a fan of oh my god, the Illuminati trilogy. That is the Fnords are these words that we are programmed to not see between the lines of texts that have secret meaning.
Whoa.
Yes, that's right.
Well, then it is one of those because that's 100% what happened to me.
The entire comic book is a Fnord.
And then the Captain Marvel comic is written by Ann Nocenti, I can tell you that.
Yes. I will say that this was one of my favorite X-Men comics that I've read for a while, too. I love this.
It's fun.
This was good. This was much better than Immortal X-Men this week, which we will get to, but I thought was not all that great.
Yep.
Children of the Vault, however, was very fun and read like a classic, kind of like fighty 80s, 90s kind of...
It read very much like the first arc of Grant Morrison's Justice League to me, in a sort of...
I would say that, yeah.
In a sort of comparative way. I like the idea of it on that level. And the art was fine, just fine.
It's too bad the camera wasn't on me to see me pour that water down my shirt.
I saw it.
Okay, good. As long as you saw it. As long as somebody caught it, it was really good.
Saw it with my eye camera.
That's the most secret camera of all.
Yep.
God, I gotta oil this fucking chair. Or maybe buy a new one. Who knows?
Buying new sounds good.
It does seem like probably it's the time to do it. The arms have fallen off. And it's just like this thing is done for. Here's a comic book called Damn You All.
I didn't read this one.
Damn, y'all.
Damn, y'all. I would have read it if it was called
Damn Y'all. Damn Y'all. I feel like everyone.
Damn Y'all.
Read this comic. You'd think it was exciting. Hey, look at what we got here. We got the Dork Faces of Danger Street.
Oh yeah, it's the Outsiders on the cover. I love these guys.
Who's the dude with one eye?
They're all the Outsiders. They have names. I can't remember them. But there's
if
you've ever read first issue specials, there's one that is drawn by the depending on your inclination, in my inclination, the wonderful Jack Sparling. Perhaps many people are like, oh God, this one is
Captain Jack Sparling.
No, he's not. He's just a guy that drew a lot of comics in the 60s. And he drew this. I think actually, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he drew it.
I feel like
they're all just
the original.
It's such
comic, but
it's the first DC Outsiders, but it's like nothing to do with those. They're just like these weird circus freaks that I don't really know what they do. Like I've read the comic and I couldn't tell you anything about it really. But in this series, I actually really like what Tom King is doing with them. They have like one guy has like one eye and one guy's like a lizard guy, and there's like a lady that has like snake arms, and
she seems to have broom hands, but
yeah, it's very odd. The Outsiders are odd. I think they're aliens. I'm not sure. I should know. I should have done some research. But you're about to talk about my favorite.
I'm about to talk about one of the best comics this week. One of my favorites. One of my favorite artists. I love this guy. I have loved him since Atomics. And what was
you mean Atomic City Tales?
Atomic City Tales. I mean, sorry. I almost said Astro City Tales and Atomics, which is totally wrong.
Yeah. Jet Cat and
Jet
Friends.
Cat, yes.
Many other.
Which I didn't like quite as much, but yes.
Jet Cat was for kids.
Jet Cat was fun too.
But it was fun.
Yeah,
I like Jet Cat. I like Jay Stevens is amazing. I've been kickstarting this since it started. So the last issue of it is I think the Kickstarter is just about. It's not a Kickstarter. It's like Crowdfunder or something like that. But it started as Kickstarter. Anyway, now they're doing them as anthology sort of. It's not like quite a trade, but it's 2 issues of the series in one, and then they're going to come out bi-monthly. And so this is issue 1 and issue 2 of Dwellings. And what Dwellings is like, I think actually I really liked someone's elevator pitch kind of thing for it. It's Saturday morning meets the midnight hour. Like it's like the darkest of midnight or something along those lines. But it's like basically like the best written, like truly psychological horror, like just astoundingly well written, and then drawn in a style that's like probably like what people watching the video can see on their screen with the cover of it. It's done in a very like super goofy kind of cartoony style, but it's still
sort of a
like
Richie Rich kind of hot stuff. The devil.
If Richie Rich had eye stabbings and like
well, I mean, the most classic cover of the Die My Darling artwork from the Misfits, that was done by the guy who drew Richie Rich. So there you go.
Nice.
That's a real pull. We found that out when David got that tattoo. He got Black Cat number 15 or whatever the name of the comic is.
Yeah.
It's just the woman who's half skeleton and she's got the glasses or whatever, champagne or whatever the fuck she's drinking.
Yeah.
That one, it was drawn by the guy who created Richie Rich.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I thought was a really funny, that's a funny tidbit.
That is
I
funny.
should also know who that is, but I don't know shit.
Well, Dwellings is amazing, and you can't go wrong. So this is like the first issue involves like a bunch of, it's like kind of like a bird style, like Hitchcock birds kind of thing. And then the second story is actually I think actually the second issue of Dwellings is my favorite of all the ones I've read.
I mean, the birds one, you're underselling it. It is very clever.
It is. I know. It is.
I
like it blew my socks. It's just, unfortunately for me, it's been like over like probably close to 2 years since I read it, so it's not fresh. But the second story,
essentially a bunch of birds, something happens,
and they see it,
and they see him accidentally knock someone out with a brick, and then they get to eat his eyes, and they're very excited to be able to eat this person that he's killed. And then now they're sitting outside his house, and he originally thinks that they're there because they know what he did and they want to punish him. But what they really want is for him to feed them. And so we get a little Shop of Horrors thing and then he slowly devolves into being a raven, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, the second one is like a linguist who stumbles upon this like crime that it's just this really weird cult thing that like involves like lots of murders, but like this unfolding plot that like when you get to the last part of it, it's just like, oh shit, like that's what's happening to this character. Okay. And it's amazing, just amazingly well written, and cannot, like, if you haven't read it, you definitely should get.
Yes,
you should definitely get it. It's fucking great.
And if you like a gargoyle, you're gonna like Gargoyles.
Oh, yeah, Gargoyles. It's good.
And if you like ghosts and enjoy the lore therein,
I love this comic book.
Yeah, this comic has really come into its own.
Somehow I started flipping through this and then just kind of stopped. So I can't really say anything about what happens in this specific issue, but I really like it. I think ghost lore is very good. I think it's my favorite Cullen Bunn thing in quite a while.
It's definitely his best thing in a while. So,
and I love Leo Max. I just really love Leo Max.
And this one I wish I had checked out. People seem to be loving this book, weirdly.
What is it?
Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons.
Oh, it was the Pirate Godzilla one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
There it is.
It's fun. It's weird. You wouldn't think it would work, but it does somehow.
There you go. Like peanut butter and chocolate.
I would think those would work.
And some ants.
Ants, okay. Peanut butter and chocolate.
Like peanut butter, chocolate, and like a little bit of bleach.
And blood.
You wouldn't think that the bleach would really work, but it does. It's great. Ghost Rider and Wolverine. Weapons of Vengeance.
Much better than I would have ever thought something like this would be. I think it's because it's written by Benjamin Percy, who is very good.
Sure.
Currently writes Wolverine.
I think once he's let off the chain to just do a fun, dumb story, he can do it. And that's what this is. It's just like
feels like a Marvel comic.
It
to
feels
me. Like
it feels like it could. It feels like a Marvel Comics Presents to me.
Sort of, yeah.
Like I would like this. This feels like somebody redoing a Marvel Comics Presents story.
And I hate to be like a back in my day or whatever, but it's like it feels like a Marvel comic. It makes sense to me in the way that like what Marvel Comics were to me at a certain point, and nothing against it. Like it's not like there aren't good comics for Marvel anymore. It's just like different now, and this feels it's a piece of, because it's like the story is like. It's got a flashback in it with like the Xavier School and all the characters that are there, but it also has like a present day storyline with.
I mean, it has an argument over ice cream in the kitchen. You know what I mean? As opposed to we're having a big. It's an era in the X-Men's life where they're teenagers. And they're having fun, as opposed to current times when they're adults. They are running the world, and they are at a huge high level. It's nowhere near as fun as when they're just like, fun-loving teens getting into trouble and like horsing around with each other, getting mad about who stole the last mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah, and it's also the other thing that I think is sort of important to point out about it is that it's also a really good Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. Like that, the way he's portrayed in it is really good, and it's not like wasting your time with like, here's the high concept of what we're doing with Ghost Rider this time. It's just fucking Ghost Rider. He's hunting demons because that's what Ghost Rider does.
It's interesting. They did a thing in this that was my favorite. I hate it when they retell the origin story. Everybody does.
Sure.
But they felt the need to retell the origin story, but used it as a plot device that was really important. Because they introduce him at the circus and he gets injured and they think that he's fallen, and it's like, no, he got distracted in midair because he's sensing some sort of thing, and it's like, oh, we can announce that he's this daredevil and he rides a motorcycle and all these things that we've gone through a million times, but he's there for a reason. He's at this event jumping some stuff because We need to see him on a table and be like, what could have been so important that it knocked you off your motorcycle? Aha, it was this gigantic demon thing that we're concerned about.
Cool.
That's great.
I also thought the art was really good, and I really liked like some of the modern Ghost Rider art. I think is just goes like way too like something for me, and this
it
even
tries to be too horror-y and just kind of fails to be superhero-y at the same time.
But there's like a close-up panel of the skull, like right after he kind of becomes Ghost Rider the first time in the comic, and I thought it was just like a really cool visual of Ghost Rider. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this was a nice surprise.
Nice. Here we go, and we are continuing on with Guardians of the Galaxy number 5 of the new series.
I really like what they're doing with Mantis in this.
Yes. I think they've finally realized that Mantis is a fan favorite character, and they're actually treating her with some sort of respect, which I think is cool.
They're playing like kind of acknowledging the fact that like there's like that whole Steve Englehart like Mantis storyline that actually crosses over from Marvel to DC at certain points. But like Mantis is actually in a Justice League comic. I don't know if you ever knew that, but
I did.
It's a different character name or whatever, but exactly. It's literally the same character, and it's the same writer. But she has like some kind of thing where she's like all of the different versions of herself. She's like can become them all at the same time. There's like a nice visualization of it in this comic, but I think it's fun. It's a good Guardians comic, as you know, works. Yeah, it works.
I agree. And next we have the House of Slafter.
Slafter. I don't know anything about this comic book.
Well, if you like Slaftering people,
I do love.
They got a house for you.
I do love Slafter.
How do you feel about Kea?
I think that this is the best issue of this series. I like this series, and this is the best issue in a while. I've been kind of on the fence of like, I'm not really sure. The art is so fucking good in this comic book. It's
it really is
crazy good.
That's true.
Crazy good. I mean, in general, but in this specific issue, it is like really cool, and they're now kind of hinting at like some of the things that maybe are coming up with the little brother kind of like powerless guy thing. I don't know. It's really cool. I really like it a lot. Kaya's good.
How about Killer Queens number 2?
I flipped through it, but this could have really used a title page, like just a summary page.
I agree. Yeah,
it's like a stuff like this where it's like clearly like you're just selling it to the people that read it before. That's fine, but like you want people to know what's happening, and if you just picked this up, you'd have no fucking clue.
I guess I didn't read the whole thing before, but I did read some of it, and I would be confused.
No, it just needs like a recap page.
Agree. So we got all of these guys, the Night Terrors. We got your Flash. We've got your Green Lantern. We've got your regular old Dawn of DC Knight Terrors number 3. We've got your Robin. We got your Robin right here.
Robin.
And Shazam. Johnny Shazbot.
It's Jenny Shazbot, actually.
Sorry, it is Jenny Shazbot. It's Mary Shazbot.
Mary Shazbot.
And Zatanna rounding out the crew.
I really hope they do a series of Zatanna and Cliff Steele. Like,
I know.
It seems like they're pushing towards that, maybe.
That is it's a weirdly good team up.
Yeah, I think there's potential there. It's fun. It's new. That's the one I like. The rest of them, it's just kind of like they do stuff, and then at the end, it's like, here, it's going to be continued in this specific comic. Like literally every single one of them is just like, follow the end. It doesn't end until you get to this comic, which you knew was going to happen because it's a crossover.
Yep. Mech Cadets number 1 from Boom Studios.
That's a reprint of that because apparently it's a cartoon now. That's what it says on the cover.
That's the deal.
It's Greg Pak. It's good. I remember liking it when it came out.
I didn't remember that it was Greg Pak, but that's...
Yeah. Good for him, selling cartoons.
Hopefully he's making some big money. We got Miles Morales Spider-Man number 9. With the old Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin. Oh, man. I bought some back issues recently, and, there was Demogoblin and, like, all of those, and there was Hemogoblin. You know who Hemogoblin is not a Marvel character?
What?
He's not. He's a DC character, and he appeared in the New Guardians in the issue after Snowflame appeared. His name is... or no, the issue before Snowflame.
I mean, there is a DC character called Hemogoblin, as well as the Hemogoblin from the Marvel comics.
I don't think there is.
There is a Hemogoblin.
There is?
Yeah, there is. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm Googling that because I don't remember him.
No, there
but
totally
I also
is.
wasn't really paying a lot of attention to comic books.
There had to be. I mean,
I remembered there being a Hemogoblin, and then I discovered him in that New Guardians comic recently that I read.
This isn't some sort of...
that's called...
Yes.
Is it not Mandela Effect?
That's the one.
Is that it? Okay. Well,
it was called the Mandela Effect.
As soon as you take the camera off me, I'm going to Google this.
But then the Hedron Collider went off and everything went to hell. By the way, this is the best of Pinkie Pie. And what I mean is a weasel got into the Large Hadron Collider, and that's when everything went to shit. What? Pinkie Pie? Did you read Pinkie Pie, the best of?
I did not read the best of Pinkie Pie.
Well... Is that because you had already read all of the rest of Pinkie Pie?
Correct. I've already read them. I mean, I have. It's part of my huge My Little Pony collection of comic books that I have.
My Little Pony. They have the best theme song, and the fact that went away. I mean, I'm sure that the modern brony is going to disagree with me, but the My Little Pony, that thing's fucking great. That is a catchy ass song. I never even saw that cartoon as a child, and somehow that theme song is stuck in my head. Anyway, if you want to see Crossbones punching a goblin, how about Red Goblin number 7?
Hemogoblin is only from DC.
There is no Hemogoblin in
Marvel.
Whoa.
Also, he's one of the most offensive characters in comics because he's a vampire who has AIDS.
That's absolutely batshit crazy.
It is. At the end of the New Guardians comic, they're like, oh no, he's bitten. And they're like, he died because he has AIDS. And he has bitten 2 of the New Guardians. And they're like, oh my God, do I have AIDS from the Hemogoblin?
Oh,
yeah.
God,
and that was one issue before Snowflame.
They were really trying.
Which for some reason is $20 everywhere. You cannot get that comic for less than $20.
Because the internet did a...
But they don't like Hemogoblin. He's just as offensive.
Yeah, but people love cocaine. Oh my God.
That
stuff is like addictive.
I loved Snowflame in that last issue of Peacemaker from last week.
Yes. By the way, if you are unaware, Snowflame is a character who gets his superpowers from cocaine.
Yeah, he just gets more powerful the more cocaine he does.
Just like anybody else.
Yeah. Except for not.
Anyone who's ever done cocaine and more interesting, and
unless you're Charlie Sheen, the only person who would think that actually could happen.
I mean, because he has the money to get enough cocaine to make that happen.
Because he's by winning.
Yes. Let me see. We've got here the Scarlet Couture, the Munch file. Every time I look at it, I don't see Munich, I see Munch. But nope, it is the Munich file.
Yeah, I flipped through it.
Oh, it looks like fucking ass. Oh my God.
All I can say about it is it's not for me.
Listen, I don't like to completely disregard anything, but this looks like shit.
It doesn't look that bad.
Did you look at the same comic that I did?
I mean, I opened it. It didn't look good to me, but it looks like, it's not great.
No, that looks like something that would fail on Kickstarter.
There's plenty worse.
I've never seen it.
It's not great.
It's not great. So we have here. Speaking of bad designs, I would imagine that if you are looking at this on YouTube right now, you will not know what this comic is called, but it is called Stoneheart by Emma Kubert. It is just those colors together on a similar colored background.
I thought it was called Staunce.
Exactly. It looks like it's called Staunce. It's called Squanch. Here, I'll cut to you reading it.
All right.
This is what it looks like.
It's
when
more legible on the inside.
Reads a comic book. She comes from a legacy comic book family, so she gets a pass.
Yeah, there's no backgrounds in this comic at all.
She learned.
Oh, there's
from
some.
The best.
There's a couple sketchy backgrounds, and there's a block with a door on it.
Oh, speaking of better than it has been in a long time, how about Cindy Moon is Silk?
Yeah, it's fine.
This is a much better Silk comic than I'm used to reading. Silk has been one of those series that either it's really good or really bad, and it's like half and half. It seems like pretty much half the series have been almost unreadable.
Yeah, one of those things where it's like you're still not really sure why it exists, but this series is good, so you're kind of like, okay, this is fun to look through.
Yeah. I mean, I was reading that series when she was introduced, and I was like, "Oh, this is great!" Like
before she was cool.
No, when she was.
Before it was cool to have read Silk comics, is what I was going for.
I understand what you're saying, but it feels like it was more like when her character was kind of not all right. Like it was. I liked it, but I can definitely see how she doesn't fly as a character. Sure, like her main focus was to fuck Peter Parker. That was like her whole thing. That was like, when she was introduced, it was like we were meant to be together and our pheromones are working together. And so she was just like
didn't they like make out the first time they met or something? I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was weird. And
that's weird.
Kind of not
vaguely problematic.
Yeah, it was vaguely problematic, is all I'll say. But you know what isn't vaguely problematic? Spirit World.
No way. I love Spirit World.
The only problem is that it might be too good.
Yeah. It's true.
What a shame. No, this comic is really good.
It's very good. It's a very good comic book. It's very fun. It's enjoyable to read. I love the artwork in it.
And I will say that the covers do not do justice to what is happening in the books.
They're more like they're not representational.
Yeah.
And they're doing something specific, which I think gives the book a unique look on the stands.
Sure. But the comic itself,
but it doesn't tell you what's happening in it.
Is more. You said it before. It's more like a Vertigo book. Like it feels like it's got a little bit of like it feels like John Constantine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it feels sort of like kind of books of magic to me in a way. Like Timothy if I were gonna like give it that kind of a comparison, although it is its own unique thing because it's a different type of mythology, and that's one of the things that I think makes it really enjoyable. Is it's like you're discovering, as a person who doesn't know anything about these myths, discovering them is fun, and the character is likable, and I love that Constantine is in it, and Cassandra Cain, and I think Cassandra Cain totally works in it in a way that
I love Cassandra Cain. I've always been a fan, so
definitely it's really fun.
Like,
I just
probably
really like it.
My favorite Batgirl character has been Cassandra Cain, so
there you go.
Bat family person, let's say.
I mean, your first Batgirl is always the one you like the best.
I think that's probably true.
For me, it's always Babs, but I do really like Cassandra Cain.
No, she was my first. That was the first one that I read. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe not. I might be wrong. That might be why. Anyway, Spirit World. It's awesome.
It's great.
And again,
really enjoy it.
Like that whole thing. We had said that before when we were talking about Wonder Girl, or whatever they wound up calling it, the Wonder Woman story with Yara Flor.
Yeah,
it's just it's so cool to have an international thing where you get to have this mythos that you've never heard of before, and you get to see all this new stuff, and it really just freshens the whole fucking universe, and it's crazy.
You know what I want to figure out is why DC. I really want to know the story of why DC just like totally abandoned Yara Flor, because I was watching on HBO Max.
Me crazy.
They have a documentary, and it's like this history of DC Comics, and it's not well done. It's not it's all just like the actors playing them. And they have pictures of the old comics, but one of the things, they have Joelle Jones talking about creating Yara Flor, and it's like they're presenting it in this documentary, 3-part documentary, but like how big a deal developing Yara Flor was, and it's like this huge thing, and now it's just like, oh, there's a new Wonder Woman's daughter. Why? And I'm like, why? Like, why? And like you were saying, like we're talking about Spirit World and how it's so cool and how it interfaces with this new mythology, but the Yara Flor stories also did that.
Yeah.
And it was also super enjoyable. The way that the Aztec mythologies kind of dovetailed with the Greek mythology, and like, you know, you had these like weird deity beefs and things that happened, and it felt fresh and fun and interesting, and the art was cool, and I really don't get why it was like, we're making a show of this, or it's gonna be like it was just like hard stop, no more. And
especially considering
why.
Hell, there were Hershey bars with Yara Flor on them.
Oh, wow.
For God's sake. Like, they were merchandising her at one point. Like, there's a Funko Pop of her. Like, it's what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I don't get it. It's weird. There's something
it.
behind the scenes on that, and I would like to know what the story is, because I would just like to quiet my brain about it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we have the first of the Contest of Champions, or Contest of Chaos. I apologize. It's not Contest of Champions.
It's actually...
It's fun.
It's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's just a fun...
It's a Spider-Man annual where he fights Wolverine for mystical reasons.
Yeah. We got Star Trek: The Motion
Although the
Picture
guy, whoever drew that, needs to understand that Wolverine is shorter than Spider-Man.
Yes. We have Lando versus Lobot. How could this ever happen?
It's because of dark droids.
There you go.
Lobot is a droid partially.
You wait. Now you're going to find out the true story of everybody's favorite jizz whaler. That's right. Max Rebo.
That's right. It is called jizz whaling.
I know. I put that in the newsletter, and somebody sent me a message saying that was like, I think you mean jazz whaler. And I was like, I sent them a clip from the internet, and I was like, no. He's a fucking jizz whaler. Believe me, I'm aware.
Yeah.
He's no
jazz whaler. Also, like, he barely appears in this comic that has his name in the title. Like, It's like the whole point of it is, like, I mean, maybe I flipped it too quickly or whatever, but I was like, there was a lot of pages without him in it.
He's the narrator. And so he's basically narrating what's going on, and you're seeing a lot of events from the movies from his point of view, which is kind of fun. And there's a couple of other things, and it's sort of it's almost a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead kind of thing. There's a
they
thing.
Already did that though with Tagabink, which is literally.
But it's not Rosencrantz, because you're seeing them and they're putting a different spin on what the events mean, because you're seeing it from his. But it's fine. Sure. It's fine. We got a Superman annual.
I liked it. It's for a jam art issue of Superman. I really liked the idea behind it, which is basically like establishing Lois as the editor-in-chief of the Planet, and it's really like a Daily Planet like staff comic, and you see like there's new characters that have different roles, and some of the established characters that, like, Steve Lombard is still like the sports guy, and Ron Troop is still there. But
do you have one of these things?
I do, but I'm not parked in there because there were too many cars in the lot, so I'm on the street.
Good call.
But I do have one of those things.
Sorry. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't going to get towed.
Yeah, that would suck.
It's only me that's probably going to get towed because I didn't put it in my dashboard. And it's in the back seat of my car.
Well, you might have noticed today that I didn't show up until 6. And that's because the only parking space I could find was in that commercial lot that is and I've gotten tickets for parking there before 6, so I literally sat in my car until 6 o'clock to make sure I didn't get a ticket.
Good call.
And then I came in. But yeah, so the Daily Planet runnings of the Daily Planet, and it's cool. It was a fun issue of Superman. I'm into it.
Nice. We have Survival.
I didn't read this,
which is it's okay. It's a vampire story. It's pretty good.
You should say it the way the guy from Survivor says the title of Survivor. Survival. The new issue of Survival.
What about Swan Songs? I'm not reading it, but Maxwell Prince is a fucking genius, so I'm not gonna.
I skipped it.
I'm not gonna say anything.
This is another one of those things that I didn't see on the shelf.
It's something that is kind of depressing, and so I just kind of steer clear of it.
Yeah, he doesn't write upbeat stuff.
He doesn't like to do upbeat. But you know what is upbeat? The Teen Titans in the House of Horrors.
I really dig this. It's cool. Too. He's like basically this is like doing Wade is kind of doing the various eras of the classic Titans, and this is doing that like haunted house, like almost like Scooby-Doo-esque run of stories.
Always the best one.
But also doing like kind of establishing some new canon for the characters, like that is like he did
one
some
that they like Scooby snacks, and also that they drive around in a van.
Yes. It's very much
this
like
sounds
that.
So good.
But this one has it has Mal Duncan, it has Lilith, it has Gnark, And it also has Charlie, the Golden Eagle, but he's only off panel. I think he's going to be in the next one.
Nice.
But how they've brought them in is that like there's the Teen Titans, the superhero, but then they have this like network of like kind of sub members that like of their club that do like the website or like do like different stuff for them, and that's the roles that these people play, and it's cool. And I just, it's nice to see like Bumblebee, and it's like just cool characters that never really got to have cool comics with them when they were first introduced, because unfortunately Don Heck, who is awesome, but did not
stop picking on Don Heck.
I will never pick on Don Heck, but he should not have been drawing superhero characters. Like he wasn't a superhero artist.
He should have been doing horror comics.
He should have been doing horror, anything, romance, whatever. Like give him like
such a good horror artist. I love his horror stuff. So
he's a master, and was he just, unfortunately, the only work he could get was
dead.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, all those guys are dead now. There's hardly anyone from that generation of artists that are still alive.
Way to go.
Well, I mean,
I blame you.
That was like 70 years ago that they were doing their prime work. It's my fault.
Yeah, why'd you do it?
I didn't make time happen.
Yes, you did. Speaking of making time, I got nothing.
Okay.
Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland.
It's fine. Yeah. It's good. There's some good art in it.
And the Skull Jugglinist comic of the week, we got Vampirella Rage.
Skull Jugglers.
There's skull juggling afoot.
Oh, what's that? Jug Fucklers? Like, what is that from?
I don't know.
It's like some cartoon that had like a thing called Jug Fucklers.
Probably. I can only imagine.
It might be Mr. Show. I think it might be Mr. Show.
Sounds very Mr. Show.
Whatever it was on HBO, whatever it was, because it was something that let you swear. But yeah, I think it was Mr. Show, Jug Fucklers.
Oh, I chose a weird cover for this, but Weird Work is out this week.
Hey, a weird cover for Weird Work.
This is such a good book.
Yeah, I have all these from when I kickstarted them when they were first around, so it's cool to see them on the stands.
It's so good. I mean, it's hard to pitch people on Shaky Kane if they don't like him.
Yeah, well, this is a very much like 2000 AD adjacent sort of kind of thing. Like, this could easily have been in a Prague.
This was out before, right? These are damage replacements.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, I think World Tree is a damage replacement.
I don't really know.
Guess what? World Tree. It's a comic book, and I think this is a damage replacement.
People love it.
Because they damaged a whole bunch of our comic books because shipping is hard.
Damage.
You know, my mother said to knock you out, which is weird because she's been dead for years. Werewolf by Night, number 33.
Is this the first Moon Knight or the second Moon Knight?
appearance of Moon Knight?
Because his first appearance is at the end of the comic before this.
Werebeast, Moon Knight.
Yes.
Werebeast hyphen Moon Knight. There's a lot about the I really don't understand the grammar of this, but there is a supernatural slugfest you dare not miss. Yep.
I think that the parallel that they're trying to draw unsuccessfully is that a werebeast is a moon controlled transformation, correct?
Oh, true.
And it's a moon knight, so it's a werebeast versus his solar opposite.
Of course, yes.
His planetarian opposite, the Moon Knight.
Perfect. Well, you know what's next?
Is a stretch.
The Bat and the Cats in Wildcats.
Yeah. Arsenal shows up at the end of this, and I'm like, do I need to buy this? And the answer is no. But I do like that Arsenal shows up. He's just showing up in random Batman comics lately, and I don't understand why. It's weird.
Nor do I.
Also, I guess this isn't really a Batman comic. It's a Wildcats comic, but Batman's in it.
Everything is a Batman comic.
I mean, this is like, the whole thing is really being sold on Batman being in it.
And really, to round this out, let's talk about the fact that I didn't like this comic, Immortal X-Men. It's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, if you like a comic where Professor X grows a beard and cries a lot, then that's the one for you.
Okay, I do.
It's everyone's favorite. I always wondered what Professor X. I like that his beard sucks. I like that he has a shitty beard.
That he's got a really gross beard.
It does grow really fast though, because it's like they're like X days later, which now with this new X equals 10 thing, it means in 10 days that Professor X grew a giant shitty beard.
I mean, he used his mind.
Or maybe it's X weeks later.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I'll tell you by flipping
X
to the first
is going
page.
to give it to you.
He's going to give you a shitty beard. Oh, it is X weeks later, so 10 weeks. Okay, so he could grow that shitty of a beard in that time.
Yes.
Who? Wait.
Oh, boy. No thanks. So he turned... Who is that? That looks just like a comic artist or a comic writer.
Is it? Are you saying it looks like Grant Morrison?
It looks like a combination of Grant Morrison and like 3 other people.
Actually,
all of Marvel's writers looked like that for a while.
Here's the thing. 30%. Professor X has very distinctive eyebrows in every comic book, but when he does not have them in this drawing, which means somebody has not read the comics.
Yes, he has the monarch eyebrows normally.
Yeah, he has like big
Verklemte. Yep. He has big fakakta eyebrows.
That's how you know it's him, as opposed to any other bald guy.
Wait, this could just be Daddy Warbucks.
Exactly. This could be Telly Savalas, you know?
This could be any of Marvel's comic writers from 2010 to 2019.
Yeah.
Literally every single person that worked at Marvel for like a 10-year stretch was all like bald dudes with beards.
Wait, is it Yul Brynner? No, it's Professor X. You can tell from his eyebrows.
You can tell from his eyebrows. And the fact that he's reading your mind, making you
Well,
feel
you
bad
wouldn't
about
know
stuff.
he was reading your mind.
Oh, damn.
That's part of the deal.
You think it's happening right now?
Possible.
Damn.
He is fictional.
Shit.
So maybe not.
Those fictional motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah.
All right, kids. That's going to wrap it up for us.
Wow.
There were trades. There were other things.
Yeah.
We did some things. But we will talk to you next time. Follow us at Coast City Comics. Follow us at Coast City Comics Maine on YouTube. If you want to watch these things, subscribe to us. We would appreciate it. Just smash that hit button. Hit that like to hit the smash button.
It's a hit.
The other words that
make us a hit
that I've heard people who play video games for a living say.
Rate and review us on your favorite podcast network.
Fuck. Ah, God. It's also trite. I'm so sorry.
Nah. It really does help people find our program.
It does. It's a hideous parody of itself. But you know what? I never tried to sell you a fucking Casper mattress, so enjoy that.
Heyo.
Hey, it's true. Anyway, Coast City Comics at Dollar Binge, and
that's me.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Ooh, that was good timing, man.
A little flip.